Let's go. Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about the NSPanel Manager, what it is, what you can do with it, and how to get started. So, what is it? I think this guy has a pretty good explanation. I want to show you how we think your smart home should be controlled. Your home is smart, but your wall switches, they're stupid. Let's change that, replace them with an NSPanel. And use our kind of plug-and-play standardized solution, and you and your family will be able to control your smart home in no time. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a standardized way of controlling a smart home, but also an easy way to manage all the controlling units that you use to control that smart home, which in this case is the original SONOFF NSPanel. Currently, this solution supports Home Assistant and Openhab smart home users. That video was kind of our commercial for our Kickstarter when we started this project. We did a Kickstarter, we didn't reach the goal, but we've kept on working anyway. And a lot has happened since the first release that we gave out 10 months ago. Ah, man, that's a long time. What have we been doing since the first release? A lot has happened. Tim has made a complete rewrite of the entire manager code. He wanted to do it in a different way, so it would feel better to move forward and develop the project further on. And we've done a redesign of our custom graphical user interface that's on the panel. It looks a lot more modern now than the first version. Yeah, it looks super nice. Also, there's tons of new features added to the manager that lets you customize your setup to your specific needs, to your home. We have a growing Discord community. Right now, I think it's 274 members, and along the way, during these 10 months, we've had a lot of help from this community with beta testing, bug reporting, and enhancement suggestions. So thank you so much, everyone, for being involved in that. That kind of summarizes the last 10 months. Both me and Tim are doing this on the side, and we've had a lot of other things to do as well. So it's a work in progress, and it will take the time that it takes. But the time has finally come to release the next stable version. And me and Tim, we thought that it would be a good idea to create a video that we could have on our GitHub page to help you guys get going, show you how to get started, but also just to show all the current functionality that is in the NSPanel Manager. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We will start with installing the manager both as an Home Assistant user and an Openhab user. We will go through the new initial setup guide for new installations. We will skip the flashing part this time. There's tons of videos out there that explains how to flash an NSPanel. I have videos myself as well, so I will just put a link in the description. But I have a super fresh flashed panel that we will use. With this newly flashed panel, we will go through how to set the panel up to make it connect to the manager. After that, we'll do a complete walkthrough of all the functionalities in the NSPanel Manager. I will use my live setup. I have 7 panels here around the apartment, so I can show you how it works, what you can do, and how I use it here at home. Before we start, I'd just like to say that if you like reading more than watching a YouTube video, we have a great user and technical reference document that you can use. Everything I say in this video and more you can find in that document. So if you just want to get going by yourself with a document, go to our GitHub page, go to documents, and you will find the reference guide there. With that said, let's go grab a cup of coffee. I see that I have a problem. I wanted to have this nice like picture here, but it keeps on being removed, so we might have to skip that. We'll see. All right, we're good to go. The picture is back. This is the last time I'm fixing it. If it goes away, you're on your own. You have to look at Google random pictures. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to install the manager. Let's go. We're gonna start with Home Assistant. You know, I'm an Openhab user, right? But I've actually installed Home Assistant for you guys, and it's pretty fun to play with. So I have both, and it's pretty awesome how Tim has made the manager, because you can use both and control lights that are in Home Assistant and Openhab at the same time, kind of. It's cool. We'll look into that in a bit. I'm actually going to start with just bringing up that manual that I just told people to go read if they don't like videos, but I'm going to use that in this video as well, just to show you how great it is, because we've put a lot of work into it. Here it is, NSPanel Manager User and Technical Reference Manual. Look at this, there's a lot of stuff in there. We'll start with just a quick start guide. Whoop! Just jump straight in there. Scroll down to the Home Assistant add-on. Let's go to my Home Assistant. First thing that we should do is to install the manager, and it's actually a official, like kind of an add-on thing. So you go to settings, add-ons. Maybe it's not official, I don't know really how it works, but you have to add a repository for it to work. So we go to add-on store here, and you go up there, you press repositories. And when you're thinking about what should I put in there, you just remember, oh, the reference guide. It's probably in there. You go to the reference guide. You see that here's the thing that you should add. Just copy that. Choof. Paste. Add. Yeah. There it is. Cool. And now if you search for NSPanel, you get two results actually. At this point, since we haven't released it, what I'm showing is still the beta version. But when we release the new stable release, that will be the normal NSPanel Manager. So we will install the beta. That's where we are right now. And you just press install. It's so easy. I love this. It's pretty cool. And if you didn't know, it's a Docker-based solution. So what it's doing now is installing a Docker container of the NSPanel Manager. And if you're an Openhab user, you have to do this manually. Create the container manually instead of having this nice add-on thing. There we go, it's finished. Next, just press start. Start. And it started. Press open web UI. Woo! So easy. This is beautiful. This is one of the new things. We have a initial setup guide for new users. If you don't have any panels since before, just follow the setup guide. So next, load from URL the manager address. It's the same as your Home Assistant setup. Load from URL, same there. The port number. Next, mqtt address. One of the prerequisites for using this solution is mqtt server. If you don't have that, you have to install that. Mosquito mqtt server is, I think, one of the most used. I use that at least. So set that up and then put in the information for your mqtt server. Mine is 192.168.32.202, right? 1883, that's the standard port number. My username is Openhabian, and this is my password. Close your eyes. Next. Tim just takes care of this. Very important thing is this access token, but he solves that for you. You don't have to figure that out yourself. Just press next. If you're an Openhab user, you have to find your token yourself. I'll show that later in the Openhab part of this video. So just skip that for now. Next. And yeah, we're finished. Press finish. Boom. That's it for installing the manager and the initial setup. That's super easy. Next part is to add your first panel. And to do that, you have to first flash the panel with the custom firmware. We'll just go through the flashing in theory. You need a flashing cable like this. You need to detach the panel from the wall mount, unscrew these 2 screws in the bottom, and you'll find here where to put the flashing cable pins to be able to flash. In the manual there's information about the flashing as well. The important thing there is that you need to find the bin file to flash your panel, and in the document it says it's under Docker Web NSPanel Manager directory. If you just check out GitHub, we will see that we have here under Docker Web NSPanel Manager, we have the merge flash bin, so you need to download that file. And also in the manual we refer to using Espressif ESP32 downloader tool. Windows, that's for Windows. I haven't used that, but that works. What I think is the easiest way right now is to just use the ESP Home Web Flashing tool. You need to use Chrome for that. You search for ESP Home Web Flash and you go there, and you need to connect your flashing cable. Then press connect. You will find your USB flashing cable in the list. Connect. Press install, search for the bin file, and press install. You have to put the flashing cable against the NS panel, of course. Install, and that's it. As I said, I've already prepared a panel, so it's waiting to be configured and accepted by the manager. This is what happens straight after you flash a panel and you power the panel up. It will look kind of like this. It says connecting to Wi-Fi now. Yours should say connect to NSPM access point. So if I go to Wi-Fi access points, we can see that there is an access point called NSPM panel. That's a newly flashed NS panel with our custom firmware will create that access point. So we'll log into that, and then you go to the IP address of that panel. It's 192.168.1.1. Hit enter, and there you go. This is my test panel. We will have it in debug. We will search for Wi-Fi networks. Okay, this is mine. Go. Close your eyes. I've already put these numbers in, so what you will have to do is put the IP address to your mqtt server, port number, password or username, and password. You should have this ticked 1.2, and I use the highest baud rate. This is the SONOFF default. And this is important when you flash the panel with the TFT file, that is the graphical user interface. It goes a bit faster if you have a higher baud rate, but it might also be hard to get the file there intact with that high baud rate, so you might have to play around with that a bit. And now I'll just press save and we'll see what happens on the panel here. It reboots. And while it's rebooting, we'll go to the web user interface, and hopefully as soon as it has booted and registered to the manager, it will pop up here. Nice. Test panel. I'll press accept. We'll see what happens. Nice. All right, we have our first installed panel entered into the manager. Perfect. It's not harder than that. Next, I will do an installation as an Openhab user, and after that we'll move forward with just showing the functionality of the manager. And it's very small differences between being a Home Assistant and Openhab user when you have installed it and actually use the manager. Let's install the Docker container as if you were an Openhab user. It's a bit more manual, but it's still easy. If you use Docker, you might have heard about Portainer. It's a really nice tool. If you don't use it, it might be a good idea to start using it. I use it, and I will show you what it looks like, because I have a container running right now. I want to stop that before I install this test NSPanel Manager container for this video. So let's just go in here. Portainer, it's super easy to work with your containers, stop them and run them and update them and so on. So it's really good. I'll just stop my current live version right now. I'll stop it and then we'll do the installation on a new one. So my live container is now stopped. Then we'll try to install a new one. I'll just open a terminal and I will connect to my server that runs all my containers. It's that one. All right, then we'll go back to the manual, to the container installation part. The important thing here is to copy this Docker command. All of that, copy. And you have to choose one of these architectures, appropriate one for your system. Then I'll just paste that command in there. I'll change one part just because of the video. This folder here is where the manager stores all the data, and that's used by my live setup, so I don't want to use that. I'll just change to data because that doesn't exist. And yeah, we also have to change this image here because I am installing the beta when this video is released. Hopefully the beta is released, so you will just have to put this in, but right now we need to add a beta right there. I think that's it, and I also have to put in sudo, I think. Just press enter. Port is already allocated. Oh, let's see. Okay, that popped up. I'll just remove that one because it didn't really work. And yeah, the port is obviously unavailable from the other container, so we'll just put 8001 there and try again. All right, that seems to work. It went really fast now because the image is already downloaded on that server. I've already installed it one time before. If you don't have the image, it will start downloading. It will take a while and then it will get installed. And there you go, a new container popped up. And we'll just try to go to that one. Let's put in the IP address of that one. And port number 8001 then. Did not work. Why is that? Oh, that's the wrong IP. 201. Bam! And as you can see, it looks exactly the same as when we installed Home Assistant. We'll go through the setup guide. It's a bit different because you're an Openhab user. Next, just put in the same thing here, load from URL, load from URL. Next, mqtt information. 202, I think, yes. Password. Next, Home Assistant. I will skip this since most Openhab users don't have a Home Assistant, but if you have that as well, you can put your Home Assistant IP address there as well. We will see that in my live setup later, and then you just have to put in your access token from Home Assistant as well. And you have to go manually get that. Press next. Openhab address. Just put in the address to your Openhab server. That's my Openhab server. And the access token. To get the token, we go to our Openhab server. Go down here. You have to log in first if you are not logged in. You scroll down and then you create a new API token. Put in your username. Like that. And token name. NSPanel video. NSPanel video. Create API token, not now, and there you have it. Copy that, and it says please copy it now. It will not be shown again. Let's go back to the NSPanel Manager and just paste that in there. Press next. Finished. Boom. No manager. Let's just update that. All right, it looks the same now as when we installed with Home Assistant. Before we move on, I will just try to switch the test panel from the Home Assistant installation to this installation instead. So we'll go back to the Home Assistant, add-on installation. We have the panel there, but we will remove it, delete. And what happens then is that I think the panel will reboot, and then it should appear on both these installations since they use the same mqtt server. So now the test panel popped up, and we'll see, yeah, it also popped up on the Home Assistant installation. But now we will accept it on the Openhab installation instead. See if that works. It works. Looks exactly the same. That's it for the installation part. I've shown you how to install NSPanel Manager on a system that runs Home Assistant, but also on a system that runs Openhab. Now I will switch to my live installation and I will show you exactly everything that you can do with the NSPanel Manager and how I use it in my home right here. Okay, to be honest, I don't know where I was right now, because everything just went to shit just happened, and I've been gone for 3 hours. I had major technical issues. Something weird happened when I installed all these different managers and everything just stopped working. So it's been a bit of fault finding. Now everything's back to normal, but it's hard to just jump back in and like try to act like nothing happened. I think I was about to show you my live setup. That's what I've been fixing, at least. Okay, I'm gonna switch modes. I'm happy again. This is fun. Let's do this, okay. It's getting late as well. I live in an apartment with my girlfriend, and when I record like this, she goes out. And I'm like, I'll be finished in 2 hours. Whew, it's been a lot more than 2 hours. And she wants to come home. But I have to finish, because, yeah, let's do this. All right, happy. Here's my live setup. It's up and running. I have 6 panels right now. We're gonna try to just get the test panel back in here. I think it needs a reboot to show up, so we'll try to reboot it. That one, plug it in again. Test panel is to the right and the US panel on the left. All right, there it is, the test panel. Let's accept it. And hopefully we have our 7 panels up and running then. Nice. Let's start talking functionality. I will go through the panel first, since that's the main purpose of the entire NSPanel Manager project, to control your smart home. So I want to show you in what ways can you control your smart home right now with the current graphical user interface and the functionality that we built in there. As you can see, both of the panels are right now black. They're in screensaver mode without any screensaver. They're just dimmed to black. So let's light them up like that. First off, I can see that both of these panels are situated in the wrong room. I'm in the living room, and I want these panels to be in the living room right now. And they're configured as bedroom panels. So we'll start with just fixing that. So we'll go to the US panel, go into the panel, you find the panel settings. We'll go through this in more depth soon, but first off, we'll just change default room, and we'll change it to living room. Save. Then we'll go back, and the test panel is the other one. Let's do the same thing there. Change default room to living room and save. And then we want to reboot the panels. I'll reboot the test panel from this page, reboot, and then I'll go to main page, and I'll reboot the US panel from here. And hopefully they will reboot, and we will see living room stated in the bottom instead of, yeah. And you can also see that we got some status on the lights in that room. Another thing that we need to fix, the screensaver is a bit too fast. It starts at 10 seconds, so I'm going to change that as well. Go to settings, and we will change from 10,000 milliseconds to, let's put it to 30,000. This is the global screensaver setting, so I'll set that for all panels. And when you're on the global settings, you need to restart all the panels for that to take effect on those panels. We're just watching these panels right now, so I'll just reboot the US panel again and the test panel again. Now the screensaver should activate after 30 seconds instead. Okay, we have a good setup now to start showing the functionality. Let's start with the main page, the first screen that the user sees when they go to use the panel. On the main page, you see ceiling lights and table lights in the room that the panel is in right now. It's in the living room. So we see right now that the table lights in the living room are turned on at 33%. And to change that, we can just use the brightness slider on the side here. You will see that table lights that are behind me, they will change in colors, or in brightness. That's the brightness slider, and we have the Kelvin slider as well. Change the color temperature. When I have it white, you go to the bottom, and at the top you have the warm color temperature. Nice, and I think it was about there when I started the video, so let's do like that. Nice cozy background. That's the table lights. I have a ceiling light here. If you've seen that, the white little thing being weird. That's the ceiling light in the living room, so we'll just try and press that, see what happens. Okay, that didn't work because it's a ceiling light, and the ceiling light right there is connected to one of the relays on the actual living room panel, and I think that relay is not on, so I'll go and fix that as well. Go to living room settings for that panel, and we have options for the relays, and the default is off. I lost my settings during the technical breakdown, so I'll put default as on. Save. This is good, I think. Get to see a bit of the options straight away, and we restart that panel. Hopefully the ceiling light will now start. All right, now we're able to control the ceiling light as well. So I'll try and turn that off, turn off, turn it on again, turn on. Okay, so some of the basic functionality on this main page is that if I turn everything off, then I use the slider, both ceiling lights and table lights will turn on. And when I use the slider again, all the lights that are on in that room will get that new value. On the other hand, if I turn off the ceiling lights, use the slider, only the table lights will be affected because they're the only ones that are on. Let's say everything is off and you want to turn on only the table lights. You can hold the table lights, you will only control them. It's our lock feature. You lock the table lights. Let's say you unlock it by pressing it again. Let's say table lights are on at 76. I want to turn the ceiling light on at 100%, but not affect the table lights. I lock the ceiling button and I switch that brightness up to 100%, and I can control the ceiling lights individually by locking that way. Then it unlocks after a couple of seconds. Kind of the main thing. Let's turn off the ceiling lights and go back to our kind of video recording style. 34, full color temperature. Nice. You have the exact same functionality on the EU panel as the US panel. They just look a bit different because it wasn't possible to design the user interface in exactly the same way because of the orientation of the screen. So let's try the bottom buttons on the US panel here. So the left one is to toggle rooms. If I press that one, I will switch to another room. And I'm able to control those lights in the exact same way as I did here in this room. So from whatever panel in your house, you can switch to another room and control those lights. That's the purpose of the left button. You can also press the top part of the button to enter that room, and that will give you all the light entities in that room. You have switch buttons, you can turn them on and off. You can also enter each light individually to control them. So let's enter that one. That's a lady over there. So if I turn the use the brightness there, it will change the brightness. Use the color temperature. Change the color temperature. Oh. And let's go back to somewhere like that. Yeah, if you have a color light, let's go into that one. It's called the moon. It's a middle light right there, and that has color. So you can press the color mode button in the top right, and then you get saturation and color. So let's switch it to red. Okay. I think actually I found a bug here. So the color actually doesn't work on the US panel. It does though work on the EU panel. So I'm going to use that one instead to switch the color to pink. Pink. Yeah, something like that. Nice. It might be actually, I saw that because I haven't used the US panel in a long time. It might be that it says GUI update available. I might have missed a GUI update that had some fix, so I'll try to do an update later and see if that solves the problem. The purpose of entering the room is to be able to control all the lights that exist in that room individually. And currently we only support lights, but it's in the plan for sure to support all the things that you have in your smart home. So when you enter that room, you should get blinds. If you have a TV, you get that one if you have put that in, and so on. So we will add those kind of entities to be able to control those as well when you enter the room. Right now, only lights. Okay, first page, the bottom right button, room lights. It's to toggle different modes. So right now we have two modes, room lights mode and all lights mode. So if I switch to all lights mode, you will get the average value of all the lights, table lights and ceiling lights in the apartment. Right now, I don't have any ceiling lights turned on, so it's only the table light symbol that is turned on. And the average value of all the lights that are on is right now 56. So if I use the slider, then the brightest slider, it will have an effect on all the lights that are currently on in your home. It's a pretty good feature, I think. If you want to go to like, it's dark, you want to go cozy in the entire home. I have a small apartment. Just go to all lights mode, dim it down, and change the color temperature to full, and you have the exact same color temperature everywhere, the exact same brightness, if you want that. That's the purpose of that. In the future, we will probably add another mode that is called music mode or speaker mode. So if you toggle that button one more time, you will get speaker mode. Then you will be able to control the speakers in the room that you're currently in, or all the speaker. Maybe we should have an all speaker mode as well, if you have speakers in all your rooms. Page to do that is already created, so we just need to add that code and logic to be able to control speakers as well. All right, we're almost done with the first page. We have one button left, and it's the top left button. It's a settings icon. What you control by pressing that button is our NSPanel Manager scenes functionality, which is pretty neat. So if I press that button, we'll enter scenes window for that room. So you can create up to 4 pre-configured scenes for each room. If you look at the web user interface, we can see how that looks. Go to rooms. I have my living room here, and you can see that I've created 2 scenes here, movie scene, YouTube scene. I can add a new scene. Test scene. Oh no, close. NSPM scene. That's our own scenes. Test scene. Boom. And if I enter, you can see already that a new scene has appeared. And this is how the scenes work. You just create a scene in the manager. They will appear on each panels right now in the living room. If I press the YouTube scene, bam, it turns pink, because that's how I saved that scene. And if you want to save a scene, let's change this one. Change the color to something else. Let's go to moon, and I'll change the color to like bluish or something. Yeah, cool. Go back to scenes. Then it's super easy to save the current settings on the lights that are currently on in that room. So just hold the YouTube scene, or I'll take the movie scene instead. I'll just hold there. Hold it until it's saved, so you're not accidentally just saving over scenes. Now if I go back to the YouTube scene, activate that one, get pink, press the movie scene, get blue. That's super cool. Maybe I want to have brighter lights on my movie scene, so I increase the lights. I want to have white lights. That's super weird for a movie scene. Go back to scenes, save the movie scene. Boom. You understand what's going to happen? Maybe we'll try to use the US panel instead to activate them. But go back to the YouTube scene. Pink dims down, color temperature goes up, and go back to movie scene. Hopefully, increases the brightness, color temperature goes down. We got pink. Cool! That's a great feature. Love that. Small detail that is important. If you switch to all lights mode, you can see that scene settings symbol changed. Got a roof on top of it. So what does that mean? It means that you can also do global scenes. So let's enter that one. Then we have the global scenes for your home. I don't have any set up here, so let's just set one up. Go to Entities, Global Scenes. Create new scene, Global 1. Save. Oh, just popped up. That's super cool. And it works the exact same way. Just save it. You'll save all the lights in your manager setup and allow you to activate those specific values at a later time. If you're a scene lover, this is super good. It also gives power to more than the specific person that actually sets up the smart home. It gives the power to all the smart home users. I mean, if your children has their own bedroom, maybe they want to be able to change their scenes easier than going to dad or mom and say, hey, can you statically change my scene because I want blue lights on my movie scene or whatever. They can just go to the panel, save it themselves, and use it at a later time. That's awesome. That's basically the main functionality of the panel, what you can do with it right now. There are other things. We're going to talk about the screensaver, for example. There's tons of settings for the screensaver. There are more pages that are coming. For example, there's a swipe down page. It's not finished yet, where you should be able to do those standard smart home things like home away mode, sleep mode, set the alarm, turn on and off, and settings. It's not finished yet, but we will get there. And pages that we are working on is, for example, that page to be able to control the speakers, switch from all lights mode, for example, to speaker mode. And also all kinds of pages for all the type of entities that exists in a smart home. Thermostats, TVs, blinds, super important blinds, for example. But don't worry, we have a lot more to talk about. Let's start looking at the manager. We will keep on working with the panels. Let's go through the actual manager web user interface and what you do there. Because now we've just worked with my existing setup that is already configured. I want to show you how you configure it and how easy it is to get this working. So we'll go back to the first page. We have our 7 panels there. Let's just go through the first page and the functionality there. So you have an actions button here. You can reboot all panels. Let's do that. That's great. If you do global settings, you want to restart all the panels so they get new config. It says that if you go to settings, you can see that changes to NSPanel settings on this page requires a reboot of all NSPanels to take effect. So it's a good thing to be able to do that. You also have a restart of the mqtt manager. That's the actual software running in the Docker container. If something stops working, it's a good thing to be able to just reboot it and see if it starts working again. You have an update firmware on all panels and update screen on all panels as well. Super good. When we release the new versions, for example, if you have a previous version, you might need to update the firmware on all the panels and also the TFT file. If we add pages, for example, to the graphical user interface on the panel, it means you need to upload that new graphical user interface. It's called a TFT file, and you do that by pressing update screen on all panels. You can also do that on the individual panels as well. So you have the exact same settings here, just individually. Before going into the panels and seeing exactly all the settings you can do there, I want to go to rooms, because that's kind of the second thing you do after installing the manager. You want to create your rooms and add your lights. That's a big part of it. So you go to rooms. When you install from the beginning, there's only a dummy room. So you just rename that, and then you add the rest of the rooms in your apartment. These are, of course, the rooms that you will be able to control from all the panels. So we can create a new room, test room. It's very easy. Boom. And when you do that, you get into that test room page, and you're able to start creating scenes for that room or add lights for that room. In the future, add smart home entities for that room. We start at the top. If you want to create a scene for that room, as we did before, just choose new NSPM scene. That's our own NSPanel Manager scenes functionality that I just showed you. Do scene 1. But if you're already a scenes lover and you have your scenes already set up in Home Assistant or Openhab, both those systems support scene functionality, then you can add those scenes instead of creating scenes with the NSPanel Manager. So go to Scene, and here, since I have a connection to both Home Assistant and Openhab with my manager, I don't have any scenes in Home Assistant, so therefore it's empty here. But in Openhab, a scene in Openhab is basically a rule, so all your rules that exist in Openhab will be possible to choose from here, and therefore you will be able to trigger whatever rule you want from your NSPanel Manager by just adding that rule. So I'll just, I don't know, sleep scene. I'll choose that one. Added that one. Oh man, I just realized the lights are all crazy here. Let's turn on the YouTube scene again. Better. Sorry for that. Let's go back. Let's see if the test room has appeared here, or if we have to reboot. Test room, it has appeared. Cool. Let's go to the scenes page. You can see that the sleep scene that I just added from Openhab has popped up, with the difference that it doesn't have a save icon, because there's no support of saving a rule. So if you're adding Openhab scenes or Home Assistant scenes, they won't have that save icon. But you can trigger scenes from the panel. Super nice feature, I think. So if you're not already a scene lover, it's time to become one. The next thing you want to do after creating a room is to add your lights. So what you do here is that you just press new light, and through the fantastic API connection to either Home Assistant or Openhab, you will retrieve all the light entities from Openhab and or Home Assistant. I have both Home Assistant and Openhab API connections in this manager, so everything that I have here in my crazy Home Assistant world, which I don't know much about, all the lights that I see there, they appear here as well. And Openhab, that I know a bit more about, also all the items that exists in Openhab appear here. We will try to add one light with Home Assistant. We'll choose the Hey light in the back there, Hey slant. I will call it something else. I will call it bookshelf. That's what it's called, right? It's a table light. This is where you choose if it's a ceiling light or table light. That's important. So it's a table light. It's dimmable. It has color temperature. It does not have color. So I don't take that one. Add to room view. Save. Then it will be automatically added to room view. I bring up the test room again just to see. It's really cool. It just pops up there. Cool, it's already there. Next, I will add a light through Openhab instead, and I will choose the super moon over there. Cool. It's also a table light. It's dimmable. It's color temperature, and it's also color. And the difference when you add a light in Home Assistant or Openhab is that for Openhab you have to choose the items that corresponds to dimmer, your color temperature, and your color items. So I choose color temperature and I choose color. So for Openhab, what we add here is the thing, physical instance of the light, and that thing has probably a brightness item, a color temperature item, and a color item. If you work with Openhab, you know how this works. So that's how you have to do it as an Openhab user. Press save, and we have two lights added to this test room, and you can see that source is Home Assistant for one of them and Openhab for the other one. And let's go to the test room then. Just try this out, see what happens, see what it looks like. Test room. Let's just try to use the slider there, brightness slider. Seems to work, right? I think this is so cool. I actually haven't tried this that much, just installed Home Assistant, but I mean, it doesn't matter where the light is or which system that you choose to control it with or add it with. It just works. You don't notice any difference between them. So, shoof, shoof. Change the color temperature. Boom, that works. Nice. Did we have a scene? Yeah, we have a scene. I want to save that one. I want to save a scene in this room. So let's go inside. Let's go to supermoon. Let's change the color to la la la. Super. Oh man, super red. Super red. Man, super red. There you go. Super red. Super bright. Go back. 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 Save the scene. Scene 1. Yeah. Switch to super horrible light and go back to scenes and activate scene. Works like a charm. I mean, do you understand how easy this is? Just connect to your home automation system, whatever, Openhab, Home Assistant. Create your rooms, add your lights, and you're done. It's not harder than that, right? I think we're done with rooms. Let's move forward. We will go to entities, but before we do that, let's go to settings. I'm a bit tired with the screens just going to black all the time. We want a screensaver, so we'll go to global settings and we set the screensaver mode to show with background clock, date and weather. Boom. Clock, date and weather. Yep. Press save. Reboot US panel and reboot our test panel. All right. Hopefully we will get a weather page there then in about 30 seconds. Weather screensaver. That's a really good thing. I mean, I always, if you've seen my movies, I've talked a lot of shit about weather pages on NSPanels, but if you use it in the right way, it's great. Yeah, it's great. If you use it in the right way. And with the manager, you're able to set that up so it works very good. It doesn't conflict with the actual main purpose of controlling lights. All right, let's move forward. Entities, relay light groups. That's a thing that Tim created. He had a need for that. You can actually create a relay group. So let's do that. Test, relay. Boom. And then we can add relays. And you will get all the relays here from all the panels. And we will choose US panel, relay 1. Boom. Now my girlfriend arrives that I've pushed out of the apartment. She's super happy. But she will also be happy to hear that I'm almost finished. I don't have that much left, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome. Welcome home, honey.
Hello.
I'll just try to finish here. All right. I added the US relay 1 and we'll add another relay. Guess which? We will choose a test panel, relay 1, save. And we just created a relay group, which means that if someone uses the US relay 1, presses that button, it will turn off and on, but it will do the exact same thing with the paired relay. Both relays on both panels change simultaneously. That's pretty cool. You can actually look at a thing that I forgot to show you, and we can hopefully look at these switches turning on and off. In Home Assistant, there's a thing called, I think it's called mqtt Auto Discovery. And all these panels, we use mqtt between the panels and the manager to transfer data. Obviously, because we use an mqtt broker, because we talked about that. But they are sending on a specific topic all the information of the panel. Let's just go to Home Assistant. I have this crazy overview here. It seems to be auto-populated. It's crazy. So, but I actually managed to create a new page, which I called NSPanels, and I just added all of these panels to this page. These are all the mqtt topics that the panels are reporting on. So each panel has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 topics right now that they're reporting status. And we are also able to send commands to those topics. So if you've used mqtt, a thing or entity or item, it reports its state, but you can also control that item by sending a command to a command topic for that item. We support that, so these are the things that you can read out from the panels through these mqtt topics. Hopefully you understood what I meant. Let's just check that out a bit, because I completely forgot about that. It's super cool, because this creates a great opportunity to automate with your panels, create rules and automations. For example, I want screensaver during the night, but not during the day, or I want to change the screen brightness at a specific point, at a specific event, or whatever. I want to turn the relays on and off. I mean, if you have stupid old lights which are connected to these relays, they are basically smart, because now via mqtt you can control those relays by sending commands to that topic. So you've made your dumb ceiling lights maybe smart. If you have those, I have that in my bathroom, for example. So let's check the US panel out, and let's just try and switching the relays there. Okay, you see the US panel. If I press relay 1, we see that status update. That's the entire purpose of these topics. So it's great. And if we go to the test, where's the test panel? Oh, I haven't added that on this page. So maybe it's on the crazy automatic overview here. Can you, yeah, test panel. So let's try and press the US panel left relay 1 there. You can see that the test panel's relay also was toggled. Yeah, that took like 10 minutes to explain the paired relay thing, but we got into one important thing, and this is super cool. So we can just keep on going through this. If I press here, or we go back to the NSPanel page that I created, we go to the US panel. I can, of course, then send commands to these topics to actually control the relays from another place. I can change the screensaver brightness. Right now we're in screensaver mode, right? We have the weather page, that's a screensaver. And we'll send a message to that topic. And we can change the brightness, the screensaver brightness. US panel screen power, what's that? That's like if you want to turn the screensaver off and go to the main page, you can do that also via topic. So I press on, then the home page or main page is presented. You can also change the screensaver mode, and I can do that from here. We will do that from the manager as well, but you can automate that. That's a super good thing. I think it was actually a user suggestion from our Discord by a Swedish guy that has helped us a lot. He wanted this, and Tim added it, and it's great. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different options for screensaver with background. That's what we have right now. Without background, it just turns black. A lot of users just want a black screen, maybe if it's in your bedroom during the night or something like that. And you don't like the background or whatever. Use that. Daytime, you don't like weather. Like me, you don't like weather. So you just go with the date and time with the background, because you like backgrounds. It's a nice background. Or you use a daytime without background. I use that in the bedroom during the night. So yeah, I have a super low brightness on the screensaver as well. Super low. So when you wake up in the middle of the night, you can kind of see what the time is if you want to, but it doesn't disturb you because the screen is not that bright. Very good. Or maybe you don't want a screensaver at all. During the night, for example, I have an automation. When I turn off all my lights in the apartment, I have an automation that sends no screensaver out on this topic to all panels, which makes all the panels in the apartment just go black, because there's no need for them to be on during the night. That's stupid. So they're turned off. It's very good. In the bottom here, you can see that the temperature that the panel reports is also reported here on that topic. If you want to go into detail on the specific topics, where do you go? You go to the manual, of course, the technical reference. You have so much information here. So if you go to the bottom of the documentation, you can see all the mqtt topics and what kind of payloads they accept. Super good. If you like mqtt and want to automate through these things, it's really good to have. Okay, let's go back to the manager. We were at the relay and we kind of diverted to that thing. Let's go back to entities. What do you need this relay thing for? I don't know. I think maybe, just one more thing about the relays. If you have a big room and you have 2 ceiling lights, but they're controlled from different switches, like old stupid switches, and you're like, I never want to have just one of those turned on. I always want to have both of them. If you have old switches, you have to go to one switch, press that one on, then you have to move to the other side of the room and trigger the other switch as well. But with this super smart relay group thing, you don't have to do that. Just press one switch and the other one will automatically turn on. Maybe you already got that, but that's one user case. Okay, let's go on. Global scenes, weather and time. Global scenes, we already talked about that. Great feature as well. Weather and time. I hated weather, but now I love it. It's great, actually. It's a great feature. So we have the option, as you saw, to show the weather as a screensaver. And it's very easy to set up. We use mqtt API. So the only thing you have to do, you just choose 24-hour or 12-hour clock. If you use that, super weird. If you stopped using that 12-hour AM PM thing, it would have been much easier to create the graphical user interface for the panel. But whatever. Okay, the only thing you have to do here, choose your clock type, and then you go press search. Right now I'm in Stockholm, so that's the weather that I have right here. But let's say I live in Las Vegas. You just press you just write Las Vegas and you press enter. And hopefully when I press save here, yeah, I'm also, if I live in Las Vegas, I probably want to have Fahrenheit as well. That's super weird as well. What I want more, I want miles per hour and I want inches. So weird. Press save. And I think the weather will automatically just change. Yeah, you got 1000% more numbers because of your Fahrenheit stuff, and it's completely non-understandable. Yeah, that's how it works. As you can see, oh my, slut batteri, that's not good. That is not good. Okay, more issues. That camera just died, but we're almost finished, so it's on charging, and I'll show you the rest of the panels real soon. We were finished on the weather page, I think. Denied NS panels. When they appear here, you have the option to deny them if you don't want them in your manager. Then you will find them here, and if you want them in the manager in a later point in time, just go there and you remove them. This upload button here is, you shouldn't have to use that. When you install our releases, the correct firmware, correct data file and correct TFT files are in that release. So when you are on the first page and you press upload firmware or update screen, you'll push out the files that exists in that release. The only time you want to use this if you want to push out other firmware than that exists in your current release. An old firmware, or yeah, I don't know. It could be fault finding. If you find a bug and want to test something out, maybe we can send you a firmware file and you have this option to upload that one, and we can debug. TFT file, the same thing there. Basically, but you don't have to use that upload at all. Let's go to settings and go through all the cool global settings that you have here. In the top, manage your address, automatically put in the beginning. The mqtt manager log level, this is important if we find bugs or if we have issues. Then we have a functionality right now where you can just press download here. You'll download the latest like 10,000 log rows and in a text file, and you'll be able to send that to us and we can see hopefully what's going on. That's just a debugging thing. Global NSPanel settings. Start with the color temperature, your min and max value on your lights that you have in your home. Reverse color temperature slider. That's a favorite subject of mine. If I ask a normal person, whatever person on the street, and ask them, hey, if you had the opportunity to control your lights and change the color temperature between white and warm white, where would you want to have white warm white. Would you want to have warm white in the top or in the bottom? All normal people would say in the top. Yeah, but the Kelvin scale is reversed, right? So that's engineers, they don't understand how you could have the warm color temperature in the top, because that's the lowest on the Kelvin scale. But there's also another scale that I've seen in Zigbee to mqtt that is called myreds, and then the warm value is in the top. So it actually works to have the warm color temperature in the top. The point is that you can choose if you want it in the top or in the bottom. I think we should change this so that the default is warm in the top, but it's not right now. You have to do reverse if you want that. Whatever. Turn on behavior. That's a pretty good thing. When you press the panel and turn on a light, do you want it to take the current color temperature value that's on the slider, or do you want it to restore the last value that it had? So depending on how you want to use the main page when you turn on lights, you can use this option. Raise lights, 100% threshold. It's like it's a pretty small screen, so it could be a bit hard to actually get exactly to 100%. But if you get your finger up to 95% in this case, the lights will go to 100%. You can control this thing if you want to. Minimum button push time. So this is about the physical buttons. The minimum time that you have to press for it to actually count it as an actual push. Screen brightness, easy. You can choose that. Screensaver brightness, the same time. You can do this in a global setting, but then you can also set screensaver and screensaver brightness and these settings below on an individual basis for each panel. Right now, 30 seconds, screensaver will activate. Screensaver mode, we've shown that, we talked about that. mqtt ignore time. This is a setting for like when you do a change, your home automation server, Home Assistant or Openhab. I think it might be for both or just Openhab. It could be, it could take a while for all this data to be pushed out to all your, let's say, 40 lights, and it could be ripple effects where your home automation system kind of reports back values, and if we read on all those values being reported back, the sliders would go like this. So therefore we have a timing there. So from a user input, we don't care about data from your home automation server in 3 seconds. Last thing that we're going to talk about is the individual settings for each panel, and you reach those by pressing on the panel. So let's go to the US panel. There's a lot of good features here. It's really good. So you can change the name. Here is an important thing to choose. Oh, that's why it says GUI update available, because it sees that, hey, this is not the EU TFT file you have loaded. So if we switch to US, very important, press save. Hopefully that symbol is gone. Yes, I'm so glad that I didn't push that GUI button. That's super important, because when you press upload TFT file, it will upload the TFT file depending on what type you've chosen here. So choose that first if you're a US user. Default room, which room should be seen when the user starts using the panel. This is a good feature as well. Not all people like that you can toggle between rooms and turn on and off lights in other rooms than the room that you're actually in. And a good example could be the bathroom. Do you want your kids to be able to sit in their bedroom, toggling to the bathroom and turn all the lights off? Maybe not. It's a good thing that you have the option to lock panels. You can have specific panels being locked to only control the lights in that room. That's good. Default main page. Not all users want lights as their main page. it appears. So someone, the scene lovers, they want scenes, the scenes page as the main page. So if you're one of those people, just choose scenes and reboot, and that'll be your first page. This is a good thing. Reverse relays. If you replace one of your old wall switches with a panel and you put in the cable that connects to the ceiling light, and you only have one light, but you have two relays on the panel, right? And you're like, I'm not really sure which hole to put it in, and you just put it in one. And then you realize that, oh man, I'm turning on and off the light. I'm controlling the light now from the right button, but I want to control it from the left button. Yeah, then this feature is perfect. Then you can just reverse the relays. And then when you press the left button, you will control the light anyway, because it's just logic in the panel. Super good. So it doesn't matter if you put the cable in the wrong place. We will fix that for you. Yeah, default mode, the same thing there. If you restart the panel, do you want your ceiling lights to be off, the relays off, and therefore the ceiling lights off as well? Or do you want them to be constantly on, never turn the relays off? I mean, if you, as me, are using Zigbee lights, this thing, for example, the Zigbee light, I never want that to turn off. I don't want that to turn off when I reboot the panel. So in that case, I want the relay mode to on, right? Oh, this is, whew, we have, there's so many good things here. This might be the best thing. I love this one. Left button and right button mode. What do you want to do with the buttons? Maybe you don't even have a ceiling light. Maybe you have your panel like this on a desktop. You don't have anything connected to the actual outlets here, or whatever you call it. So, but you want to use the buttons for something anyway. You want to trigger an automation or something. Yeah, you can do that. So we have direct mode. That's using the relays. Detached mode, it's good for, I would say, this light is a ceiling light. Maybe I want that in detached mode. Gives you the opportunity to choose a light that you've added to that room. So I choose that one, that's a ceiling light, and I choose save. And I do a reboot on that panel. Okay, and there I got the current status right now. So let's turn on the ceiling light by pressing the ceiling icon. Turn that on, you can see that. If I now press the relay button, the left one, turns that off, but not by turning the relay off, right? You don't hear the ticking sound, right? So it's a normal Zigbee message that goes out to that light. It gives the user the feeling that the ceiling lights works exactly as the old wall switches did, but it's actually a Zigbee command that is sent to the light. But the current to the light is always on. That could be a reason to use that, because you want to use the buttons. Let's go back to NSPanel and check out the other things. We're getting to the coolest one. Custom mqtt. I love that one. I use this in the kitchen because I have some blinds there. I also use it in my bedroom, in our bedroom, where we also have blinds. So right now we don't support anything other than lights. In the future we will be able to control blinds as well if you go into the room and you choose the blinds. But in the bedroom and the kitchen, I don't use physical buttons at all. I don't have a use for them. So I thought, what can I do with those? And then I realized that those are perfect to control blinds with. So left one open, right one close, for example. So what I did there is just to do this custom mqtt thing. So you just put in the topic to your blinds. Maybe you could do Openhab, yeah, /blinds kitchen /command. That's the topic. And the payload to open them is open. I use Zigbee to mqtt, and the payload to open the blind there is stay open like that. So if you save that, press that button, that command, that payload will be sent to that topic and the blinds will open. So that's a great thing. You can basically do whatever you want with those buttons. Just use your own mqtt topics, and I mean you can trigger an automation by doing that, for example. There was one more, follow mode. I need to think. Follow mode. When the button is pressed, the relay is engaged, and when the button is released, the relay is disconnected. It's pretty cool. If you want to use that for something, why not? All right, we're getting to the end. Relay 1 default mode, we've gone through that. In the bottom here, you have the settings that you can set globally, but you can override them by setting them individually instead. So you can have a global screensaver setting for all your panels, but if you want some of them to have other settings, you just put them here and that will override the global setting. That's a good, super good feature as well, because it's pretty normal, I think, that you don't want the exact same thing on all the panels. Okay, that's all the settings. Temperature calibration, these temperature readers or sensors, they're a bit weird. As you can see now, my panels, they say it's a temperature of 34 in here, 35. It's warm, but it's not that warm. So you probably want to calibrate your temperature sensors. I think that's pretty much it. Dark mode, of course, that's important, especially now when it's late. You don't want to disturb your girlfriend that's trying to sleep. You put on dark mode and everything's fine. Okay, actions, manual. Yeah, you have the manual in the top corner there. Don't forget the manual. It has everything that you need. It's great. I've been sitting here for so long, so I've lost track of my purpose. What was the purpose of me sitting here at all? I was supposed to go through what the NSPanel Manager is. I think you've understood what it is, what you can do with it, how it works. Shown you the graphical user interface on the NS panels, how that works, what the design idea has been, shown you all the settings that currently, and options that currently exists in the NSPanel Manager web user interface. A lot more is to come. This is just a start, and me and Tim, we're super excited for this new stable release. Just a couple of small fixes left, and then we will release this and you can start using it. And after that, we're so excited to start adding more functionality, add all the rest of your smart home functionality, so you can control that as well in an easy way. Your entire family. Man, I need to stop talking. We're finished. Hope you got what you came for. I'm leaving now. How am I leaving? I'm leaving by turning all the lights off. All lights mode. Turn everything off. Boom. Oh no! Now I turned the bathroom off. And my girlfriend is in the bathroom. Sorry about that. Okay. We're good now. Bye.
Cables and Coffee also on Instagram. If you like the content, please subscribe, like, and comment.